Elon Musk met with Defense Department Secretary Pete Hegseth at the Pentagon for discussion on efficiency and innovation. That's what they discussed. What did they not discuss? Well, they did not discuss the U.S. military's plan for a war that might break out with China, although that is a topic that the New York Times claimed would be discussed. And so with all the attacks against Musk and anything that he has his hands on, is the legacy media intentionally fueling opposition against Tesla and against SpaceX and against Elon Musk? Well, here to discuss this and more is Congressman Keith Self, who serves on 3 House committees, including Foreign Affairs, as well as the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of the great state of Texas. Congressman Self, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always an honor to have you, sir.
Thank you, Jody. Great to be with you. I'm on a phone, so I'm glad to be with you.
Yes, I knew that we were having a few challenges, but glad you were able to join us by phone. So let's start with this, Congressman Self. Your take on the reports like the one that I just described coming from the New York Times. Are they literally fueling anti-Musk sentiments?
Absolutely. That was a malicious headline. It was picked up. It's put across. There's a lot fueling chaos in America today. The judges, the New York Times. This is a very dangerous time, I think, and it is being fueled by the progressive left.
Yeah, it's frightening. Here's the actual headlines. Let me just give it for those who are not able to watch but listening right now. The headline said, Tesla attacks Mark troubling twist in political violence as Musk divides America. Unbelievable. It sounds like Musk is the one to blame for all the attacks. How in the world is he dividing America?
Well, he's not dividing America. It's all of the misinformation, the chaos sowing headlines, the judges that are attacking Trump's actions. All of this is intended to generate this chaos that they want. And we see it in the town halls. We see it in the progressive left, liberals burning Teslas now. Look, when conservatives disagree, they stop buying your product. When liberals disagree, they burn something. Remember the Summer of Love several summers ago? They burned their own cities down. Now they're burning Tesla dealerships. They're keying Teslas. This is the rule of law breaking down because of this chaos. I just applaud the Attorney General Bondi for reinstituting the rule of law. That's what we've got to do.
Yeah, you mentioned so many of the previous attacks, the burnings, the violence, all that sort of stuff. And I recall my time there in Congress, particularly the last term that I served, the Democrats, although now they are largely silent on these Tesla attacks, there was a time that they came out condemning all violence, regardless of ideology. But now there is even, let's call it a hate map of sorts, but it's displaying the names and the addresses, the contact information of some Tesla owners and dealerships, as well as members of the Trump administration. How in the world, Congressman Self, can anyone not speak out against this?
Well, because when they have the upper hand, they're the party of peace. They're the party of no violence. They're the party of tolerance. When they're out of power, and they are certainly out of power today when we have the trifecta of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they're all about, let's go burn something. It's very clear that is their playbook. It has been for years, and that's what they're instituting today. They're not in power. They don't like it. They want to be back in power, and they're going to use chaos to get there.
Well, it's amazing to think that they could use chaos to reassert power. What would it be like if they gained that power? If I can, Congressman Self, I'd like to shift gears on you. And there are at least 2 wars that broke out during the Biden administration, starting with the Russia-Ukraine war. But in that regard, there have been some positive developments this week. At least I think most people look at them as positive developments. What's your assessment of what we've seen this week as it relates to Russia and Ukraine?
Well, I certainly applaud the president's actions and attempts. I served 25 years in the military, 8 years in Europe in uniform. I have to tell you, I don't trust Putin at all. He is a stone cold killer. This is a man that didn't just run the intelligence branch of Russia, Soviet Union at the time. He was an active KGB agent for 16 years. Don't forget that. Deception is a major part of the Russian ideology when it comes to foreigners, for their foreign relations. Don't trust that man. Reagan's trust but verify. Don't trust him an inch.
Yeah, well said. One of the other wars, of course, is the Israel and Hamas war. That continues to be a challenge, and more news about that this week. But I mean, obviously, the real problem here is Hamas. What else can Israel do but to resume fighting at this point?
Well, I don't think there's anything they can do, because they've been very patient to try to get the hostages back. And Hamas knows that the hostages are the last leverage they have. I don't think they'll give them up willingly. So Israel has now gone back to saying, we are going to take back land. We might even annex part of the Gaza Strip if you do not return our hostages. And returning the hostages, I was in Israel, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that is the number one issue. It is the only issue to Israeli citizens. Get the hostages back. So if nothing will work, if negotiations won't work, if stage one didn't work, then Israel felt that they must go back to force Hamas to give their hostages back. So I don't think they've got another option, Jody. They have got to do what they can to get those hostages back, because that is the national issue in Israel today.
I still scratch my head over why in the world is there not more international pressure on Hamas than on Israel? How in the world are we at this point where the ones attacked take the pressure while the violent, barbaric aggressors seem to get a pass?
Because you have to go no further than the UN. There have been 129 resolutions against Israel, and it's like double all the rest of the resolutions against the rest of the world. The UN is anti-Semitic. Most of the international organizations are anti-Semitic. It's just a fact of life, Jody. It's something that they have to contend with.
So where do you see this going in about 30 seconds? What's going to happen? Your prediction, I guess I'd ask for, relating to Israel.
Well, I think they're going to have to go back into Gaza, and they're going to have to finish the job, because they didn't finish the job because of the hostages. But I will tell you, when I was in Israel, they knew that it was not a matter of if, but it was a matter of when they would go back to Gaza. I think we need to stand by for more conflict in Gaza, and I think Israel will finish the job.
Well, as always, thank you so much, Congressman Keith Self of Texas. Love your leadership, and thank you, as always, for coming on Washington Watch. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jody. You too.